Our struggle is global. Our solidarity is unbreakable, and our commitment is unyielding. No more silence and no more complicity.
It's people from Azerbaijan, Armenia, Georgia, the entire Caucasus region to show that we will not stand silent during this repression. And right now COP29 is being held in Azerbaijan, which is a repressive occupying state which have committed ethnic cleansing and which are continuously cracking down on Azerbaijani civil society and are now trying to use this COP29 as a chance to greenwash their crimes and human rights abuses. And we cannot stand silent in that, and we cannot give them any legitimacy in this situation, which is why we are standing here united saying no to greenwashing and no to the Azerbaijani regime, which is oppressing Azerbaijanis, Armenians and many other minorities. Also is a petrostate whose economy is completely dependent on fossil fuels and that is planning to expand fossil fuel production and exports and has no plan to commit to real climate action. So this hypocrisy goes many different ways, but we see through their lies, and that's why we are standing here demanding justice and demanding truth and accountability from those in power. The climate crisis is an existential crisis. 2024 is on track to become the hottest year ever recorded, and last year global greenhouse gas emissions reached an all-time high. And in this moment that the UNFCCC is hosting yet another COP climate meeting in an authoritarian country.
How did the goal of your visit in Georgia now?
As I was explaining, today we are standing here united, protesting for peace and justice for this entire region, which is experiencing increased authoritarianism and repression in many different ways. Slay.
And so what's your message to the European Union?
Oh, I have a lot of messages to the European Union. The European Union, by continuing to import fossil fuel from Azerbaijan and is planning to increase its import of fossil fuel from Azerbaijan, is complicit in the crimes committed by the Azerbaijani states. So the international community, including the EU, very much so, is complicit in this situation.
But the European Union stands for human rights.
That's what they claim, yeah. I wish that was true.
Did you try to get to Azerbaijan, to Baku?
I'm not going there because of this extreme hypocrisy. These COP processes are not leading to any meaningful change. The emissions keep on increasing and we keep moving in the wrong direction, even though the science and those affected by the climate crisis have been warning us for decades about the consequences. Whatever the people in power are doing, they are doing it wrong, because this is only leading us further, deeper into deeper injustices and a climate catastrophe. Also, the land borders to Azerbaijan are closed.
Have you received any messages from Azerbaijan during these days? Have you received any messages from Azerbaijan during these days when you are in Tbilisi? Messages from officials of Azerbaijan.
Did they invite you?
Not that I know of.
Are you going to visit Armenia also?
Yes.
When and what's your plan?
The coming week, I'm very much looking forward to that, and to meeting with Armenian activists and to more highlight the horrors that many Armenians have had to go through the recent years.
Can you state your message to COP29?
I think I have done that.
Can you state your message to the Georgian people who are fighting for their freedom?
Yeah, that they are not alone in this fight. People from all over the world stand in solidarity with their struggle for democracy and for justice and freedom. I am deeply inspired by their tireless efforts to fight for their basic human rights and showing back up time and time again, despite the extreme repression that they are facing.
And you came here during elections in Georgia, and is it your position that here we had some violations of elections, or
Sorry?
are you against the government of Georgia?
Well, I'm very much against the extreme authoritarian trend that Georgia is going through, and the lack of democracy. Georgia deserves fair and democratic elections. It's as simple as that. Sorry, what?
You've been mainly known as a climate activist, but starting from this year, for example, now you're wearing a cap. Yeah, we are knowing you better as an activist, also for human rights. How is this connected?
The climate crisis and human rights are intrinsically linked. We cannot have climate justice without social justice, of course. We are climate justice because we care about protecting people and human rights, not only because we care about trees, because that's what justice and climate justice means. Of course.
Cannot say things.